As far as I'm concerned, we've been fighting corruption for 25 years, and we haven't won yet. We know
Papua New Guinean pilots flying all over the world, engineers, doctors.
Call by the Honorable Peter O'Neill is a very important one. It's really a war of attrition, and simply because, as far as I'm concerned, we've been fighting corruption for 25 years and we haven't won yet. We're nowhere near winning. And it also seems to me that just before elections, fighting corruption becomes a very major issue, and all of a sudden it's fashionable to be fighting corruption. Now, my personal view is that corruption only exists, corruption only does well when the environment permits it to do well. And in PNG we have very weak systems, we have very weak processes. You couple that with low ethics and all those sorts of things, and you've got a very healthy environment for corruption. I keep thinking back to what we do in agriculture, because that's what I do for a living. In agriculture, if you remove the weeds, for instance, you've got to go plant something useful in its place, because if you don't, the sunlight and the nutrients, the sunlight that's coming from the sky and the nutrients that are in the soil are still going to allow for other plants to grow. Now, if you don't have useful plants, you remove the weeds, you could end up with thorns if you just kind of leave it there and expect it to solve itself. It won't. Corruption is the same. You can go jail, say 10,000 corrupt officials and everybody else by the end of this year or next year or whatever. The jails will be full, but I'm sure you'll find that there'll be another 10,000 move in to take their place. And these ones that come in and to operate in this corrupt environment might be worse than the ones you just got rid of, simply because the environment still exists. You haven't really fixed anything. It's just superficial.
I think we've progressed quite a bit. Maybe not so much in terms of human development, but individually there's been a lot of achievements, I think, that are notable. You know, the fact that we've gone kind of like from Stone Age 40 years ago. You know, you now have pilots, Papua New Guinean pilots flying all over the world, engineers, doctors. I mean, you get a lot of them here in Australia as well. So in terms of that, you know, being able to adapt to the modern world and being able to move forward, I think we've done well there. In terms of being able to keep up with our rapidly expanding population, I think we've struggled a little bit, simply because I don't think we've seen that as an issue. I think it's only hit us in the last few years that, hey, maybe one of the reasons why, you know, because if you look at our infrastructure for hospitals and schools and a lot of those sorts of things, we've got the same infrastructure that's been there since independence, you know, and we haven't expanded the infrastructure to cater for the growth in terms of an expanding population. In terms of, you know, other things, you know, maybe to do with like the economy, it's expanded greatly. I am not convinced that in terms of that expansion, whether a lot of that value has filtered down to the majority of Papua New Guineans in terms of them being able to participate in the prosperity. I think in terms of you know, literacy and all those kinds of things, we've progressed quite a bit. There's in terms of the stats, if you look at them, but largely if you balance it against things like general human development and empowerment, I don't think we've done so well.
Call by the Honorable Peter O'Neill is a very important one. Say Peter, because he had the courage to put his hand up. For us, We know that Papua New Guinea needs a change. The people know that Papua New Guinea needs a change. This is nothing personal against James Marape as an individual. But you look at Mosem, first Hamas Pla, 3 years about here, and Mibla Sato honeymoon. The people of Papua New Guinea gave you a chance to perform in the first 3 years. Now if you look at every other prime minister through history, you count him, you go back, start no time, no somarena, he come. They had 3 years, all of them. The only government that had a longer stint was National Alliance, had 9 years from 2002.